like the green and the red and the...
Yeah, I think it's always... I think it's always good fun to go back and wear some of the old jumpers in the past, and for all clubs to go back and roll out some of the old stuff. I'm not sure our colour schemes are all that fashionable, but apparently fashion does a 360 and comes in a cycle, so it's back in gear as modelled by the great man Cale there.
Who are the players you think of when you see the jersey you're in?
Probably Clive. When I think retro, probably takes me back to him. And all the guys I played with, obviously. But, Clive was the man with the mullet and he's larger than life. So, probably him.
Did it take you back to running into the crowd and after that goal as well?
No, not really. Saw some highlights flash up on socials yesterday. And it's always good to relive, I suppose. But don't tend to remember too many things about my career and highlights, or don't tend to reminisce too much. So always looking out the front. So
Going forward, what are you expecting from Port Adelaide, and what sort of attitude what do you give to your guys? Do you experiment? Do you bring guys in, or?
Oh, keep tinkering with a few little things, which you do all year and do week to week. But it's really about making sure we build a consistent brand and build some confidence in our brand and continue to evolve in that. I think we've played 3 pretty consistent games the last 3 weeks, got 2 good results, and we're expecting a real challenge from Port. They're building towards finals and going all the way. So they got back to their best last week. Not only their contest work, but their ability to drive off contest and play the game in the front half was really strong. So it's going to be another great challenge for us.
Where do you see a guy like Travis Collier hasn't played at all this year? Bit of the waffle, obviously injured. Where's he sort of sitting at the moment? Well,
he's probably like a few guys that are mature players in the waffle, just fighting for really consistent form and fighting for an opportunity and putting the hand up for an opportunity when it comes up. Trav's had a really interrupted year, first half of the year. I think his last 3 or 4 weeks have been really solid and consistent, got back to playing to his strengths and bringing his speed on both sides of the ball. And but when the team's in really good form, those opportunities don't come up as much as some of those guys would like. So he's got to bide his time and make sure he's in really good form.
Speaking of those opportunities, though, this is that time of the year where a lot of hard decisions are made on players, and that how are you sort of tackling that at this time of the year and looking forward to next year?
Yeah, we've had preliminary discussions, and those discussions will be ongoing. We won't make any rash or quick calls. We've got time. Hopefully Peel will go into finals and we get another body of evidence for some of those guys. Those talks and decisions will play out in due course.
So that'll be you make the decisions after the waffle finishes, because I guess a couple of those guys like Wilson and Hamling probably think they wouldn't play finals if they could get injured if they were going somewhere else or something.
Yeah, well, there'll be some guys that we recommend play finals. There'll be a lot of guys that just want to have the experience of playing in finals. Some of our guys talk really highly of the finals experiences and the flags they won at Peel as young players. Guys like Luke Ryan and Tabs and those guys, they speak really highly of that. Those finals series, and they feel they speak really highly about the experience and that it gave them. So we want to give as many of our players that opportunity as we can. We'll start making those decisions over the next couple of weeks of who sees out the finals, but we think it'll be up, maybe up to 15 guys that'll go on with Peel once our season finishes.
How much work do you need to put into blokes like Connor Rosie, Horn Francis, Zach Butters over the weekend, try and nullify their impact?
A whole lot. They're building one of the best midfields in the comp, and they're good ball hunters. They're explosive once they win the contest. And they turn contest wins into scoring opportunities. So, we've got to get it done with against the collective this week. I feel like our midfield has been in good form. It's going to be a step up in the challenge this week, and one yeah, we're really looking forward to.
And just going back to Saturday night, Sam Sturt booting 4 goals. How have you viewed his form in recent weeks now that he's sort of getting a better run, a better go at it, injury-wise and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think his intensity that he's playing at's really strong. He's bringing his speed in offence and defence and playing to his strengths. And, he's a beautiful finisher. He obviously finishes his work in front of goals, but it's also through his work rate and bringing his strengths, he's creating more opportunities for himself. So, yeah, he's in a good space.
Now, the Derby presser, Hayden Young, was going back. Was that gamesmanship by you?
I think the only people that thought I was being serious were a few of the reporters. Simo knew what was going on. It was a bit of tongue in cheek, and I was surprised there wasn't any follow up questions on it, to be honest. And you get asked a lot of questions about personnel in those moments, and you're sitting alongside the opposition coach. It's like we don't really want to tell him the game plan. So, yeah, a few people took it a bit serious.
Anyone from Peel done enough to force some way into the team after a 101-point win? Is that possible?
Yeah, we'll have to have a look at it. There's probably a couple of spots up for grabs. So, we want to keep rewarding the good form down there as well. So we'll have a look at it at Savo. It's definitely not going to be wholesale changes, but yeah, there might be one or two.
Is there anyone down there that you feel like you just want to look at, at this level before the end of the season?
Yeah, there's a couple of guys. There's a couple of guys that I'd love to have a look at, but whether it happens or not, we have to wait and see. I want to make sure that we continue to reward the form and make sure that the players in the team playing their role are rewarded as well. So some of that stuff's perfect world, and not really sure we'll get there. But yeah, the depth of our list, it really excites me. And some of the players, our younger players at Peel, have taken massive steps forward with their footy this year, which is exciting going forward. And whether that earns them a spot in the last 2 games, we'll wait and see. But I spoke about the finals experience they'll get. It's going to hold them in really good stead to be able to bounce into the off-season and have a good pre-season and put their hand up next year.
Another thing that's always spoken about this time of year is higher honours and All-Australians, Brownlows and that. How have you assessed a guy like Caleb Sarong in his season?
Oh, outstanding. Yeah, he's been outstanding. He's been consistently our best performer. Yeah, so if you're asking, I think he deserves an All-Australian spot, absolutely, because I don't think there's been a more consistent player. So that's where I sit on it.
And Jai, he'd go close to Rising Star too, wouldn't he?
Well, like I said after the game on the weekend, I think he should be talked about in the same way that the other best young players are spoken about. He plays a really tough position. He's matched up against the best key defender most weeks, and he's getting up towards 40 goals. So he's had a great season. But I know neither of those two will be too caught up in that. They're purely driven by team success and purely driven to be their best self, and look at personal honours as a byproduct. And
where's it at with Liam Henry now? Are you just going to let that go till the end of the season, or?
Yeah, like I said all along, the ball's in Liam's court, so he knows where we sit. He knows that I value him and see him as a part of our success and future going forward. So, we'll wait to hear from him.
Last year there was talk about Jeremy Sharp from Gold Coast as well. He's been struggling in the game over there. Is that something, if Liam does go, that you could look at? Yeah,
well, we haven't really spoken about that as a list management committee. Those meetings we'll have after the season. I think our next one's due after the season, so sure he'll be one guy that we'll bring up.
Matilda's as popular as anyone at the moment. Do you have any thoughts on whether they deserve equal pay with, say, the Socceroos?
Yeah, well, it's a really hard one for me to talk about because I don't know the back channels, and it's hard for me to. Well, I could make an uneducated view on that, but all I can talk about is what I see at the moment, and I wish them all the best tonight. I'll be getting home to watch it. They're bringing a nation along with them, And whether that leads to equal pay, we'll wait and see. But it's not really for me to decide.